Well, neither. It was a 4-quarter game, and over 4 quarters, same as last week against Geelong, 4-quarter game. One team dominated for certain periods, the other got on top for other periods, and in the end, the better team that does it for that bit longer and bit better wins the game.
Why did you think it swung so sort of wildly?
Don't know. It's hard to pick. We certainly we just couldn't get our hands on the footy. They just ran rampant and used the ball well, kept possession in that first quarter. But we addressed a few things there and fought back pretty well after that. And then in the last quarter, really, it was a pretty even game. It was up for grabs. A couple of mistakes that cost us late in terms of the margin.
Was it in the first quarter, John? Was it structural issues that got you, or were you unhappy with the intensity they showed?
No, it's a tough one to pick. I have to really now check that out. I really can't put my finger on it because the inside 50s were pretty even for a while, but we certainly didn't get it close to our goal. We were kicking it only just inside 50, rushing it a bit. And then their ball use coming out was really good. They just found loose players too often, so probably our run in that first quarter wasn't as hard as it has been.
How do you assess Mackenzie's game? And kept pretty well quiet for most of the night, then obviously a couple of errors.
Yeah, well, we assess his game over the 4 quarters, over all the contests and his role in the side. The kicking errors at the end were disappointing for him, but after the game really just said you just got to work hard to improve that area. That's ongoing. He works hard on that all the time. But I thought it was a great contest, he and Revolt.
Your defence in general at the end seemed a bit jittery, that last sort of 10 minutes, a lot of mistakes. Is that just the pressure of...
well, the 2 kicks from Eric were probably the main mistakes. I'm not sure of which other mistakes there were.
No.
Were they able to, without Kerr in the team, were they able to lock down on Pritis a little bit early in the game in particular and get hold of you around the stoppages?
With or without Kerr, what would have happened? It's hard to answer, not knowing what their plans were regardless. They obviously had a big focus on Pritis. Pritis changed his game and helped us after that by helping man up some of their other mids and freeing up some of our other players. So, it's always hard to say what it would have been like otherwise.
Were you happy with Gaff's input? He seemed to be a fairly significant factor in the game at times, particularly in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think he showed a lot of good signs. As you'd expect, he made a couple of blues as well. But overall, pleased with what he gave us today.
Is that the last we'll see him as a sub? He played him as a sub early in the year and it was great starting the round. Is that his future now?
Well, his future is playing.
So, from next week?
We'll assess that as we go, but he's obviously going to. We rate him very highly.
Lee Montagna shouldn't be getting 17 possessions in quarter, certainly not against you after what happened last year. Was that player error or coaching box error?
It's hard to answer that. Yeah, is it which quarter was that? First or yeah? We ideally wouldn't get 17, but as I said, they were dominating, winning the footy. So I would say more they shouldn't have had. Maybe 120 possessions as a team, not necessarily the one player. It was across the board.
5 wins in a row, John, including some big scalps. Did you feel vulnerable at all to a letdown? Is that
no?
And obviously, there's been huge praise from outside the club for the turnaround. Has it worried you at all that the players might take it easy at all with sort of all the...
No.
People have said that the way that your press has been excellent this year, but people have sort of theorised that the best way to beat it would be by kicking and getting over the top of it, whatever. But they, in the first half, they I think double handballs by half time. Are you surprised that they sort of went that tactic rather than the kicking?
There's some other factors in that, depending where the ball is and where they did those handballs. So, no, not surprised, and confident that we can counter that.
John, Ross Lyon talked about field position and its importance.
Yeah.
Footy today.
Yeah, it is.
Field position in the first quarter, so really there was no opportunity to apply the press, and they had it in the last quarter and were able to pressure you. Is football becoming more like rugby, do you think, in that respect? where you are on the field is so important?
I think football's always been about where you are on the field. If the ball's inside your forward line, that's always been critical. And just the way the game's played, I think inside 50s is still a big factor about which team wins the game. Generally, it's a team that has that inside 50 advantage. It's always been that way, even before the big zones and presses and all those sort of things. So, I think we've got the other terminology that comes into it, but inside 50s have always been really important forward possession.
Is it fair to say the press only really works, though, if you're getting those inside 50 high numbers to give you the opportunity to put the screws on an opponent?
Well, you only really go into what you call the press when it is deep inside 50, yeah.
Derby next week, John, how important to hit back straight away and have a win next week?
Yeah, it's very important for us.
Yeah, the way you are at the moment, 5 and 8, would mean you would play each other in an elimination final the first week if that were to remain. Does that add some psychological importance to beat them? In fact,
No, I don't know what the ladder positions will be in 7 or 8 weeks' time, so I won't be thinking about that at all.
It ended a long run of losses against them earlier this year. Will that put you in a more positive frame of mind attacking this derby now?
No. Same frame of mind.
Were you conscious at all of the ladder positions tonight with Carlton losing today and the opportunity to move inside?
No.
Do you think any of your players were? Do you think that would factor in the way they started the game?
No, I don't think so. No. Unless they were still reading the ladder position out there while the game had started. But I don't think they had their phones or whatever else they use to read ladders these days. No. There could be a lot of theories around a slow start. But the positive, third quarter, sorted that one out. So.
Is there any sort of bitter taste in your mouth, given that you were able to get from so far back to being in front at three-quarter time and ended up losing by nearly 4 goals?
Not really, no. It's disappointing, to be in with a chance of winning at three-quarter time. I thought was a great effort by the players. And then it was goal for goal for the first 10 minutes in the last quarter. And then, the margin blew out with a couple of poor mistakes, when if we didn't make those mistakes, we might have been another chance to go down and score at the other end. So, it's disappointing to lose the game. But, I was pretty proud of the way the players responded to, a good team up and going, dominating the game in the first quarter. Well, our team from where we've been in the past might have struggled to get back into that game, and I thought it was an outstanding effort. We've had games in the last 2 years that we might have lost by 80 or 100 points. But again, it shows how far this group's come, I think, the way they reacted.
You subbed Jack Darling out tonight. Is he getting closer to maybe needing a rest, do you think? Or?
Not so much a rest, but we're measuring his input into the team's performance all the time. And we've got a lot of good players that are putting their hand up to come into the side. Now, if we thought someone outside would come in and add more to our group at the moment, it would be a change around that, not so much resting him. If we left him out of the side, then we would make a call around whether it would be better for him to have a week off or play in the waffle, but we're not at that point right now.
So he would be, in your thinking, still in your team for the derby?
Yeah, definitely, yep.
No injuries tonight?
Nothing that is worth writing about, I don't think.
And another 8-day break before next week. You feel like you're in good shape for the derby, despite the loss?
Yeah, I think we've been in pretty good shape, yeah.
John, your most dominant period in that third quarter seemed to coincide with your two dominant ruckmen, actually knocking the ball clear of the contest, knocking it further. Was that planned, or is that something you'd like to develop rather than more targeted hit-outs?
Well, it's one of the strategies we use. We've got obviously several that we use, and that's one that we'll use at times.
Will Kerr play next week?
Pretty hard to answer that at the moment. A lot will depend on how he's gone with his running program over the weekend and how he's feeling.